Well, this is one of those days I really got to start trying to get something done. Too many comments, too many replies, too many answers. But what I'm trying to do here is I have 3 brand new gauges, a brand new pod pillar cover to install in this 05 SRT4 Neon. Okay. It seems that I'm really good at getting dead batteries, or they just give up at the right time. So anyway, we have 3 brand new AEM gauges that we're installing into a brand new, this is offered by Glow Shift. It's a 3-pod pillar. What we're installing is, check this out. We have the oil pressure, air fuel ratio, and a true boost so that we can control the boost for this wonderful turbo right here. Okay, so I have installed the 3 gauges so far into here. These short ones, they have the nice little thing on the back, so I kind of just spun it around backwards. It works. Normally they fit in tight enough, but with as short as these are, I didn't want them to pop out. You can still turn it a little bit. This one here, you just can't get it on because it's in too far. And it's not going to pop out. These have a lot of distance here to move. Like I said, they're really tight. So I kind of set them up in a way which I feel is probably a little bit more easier to look at. So your AFR is probably going to be the most important. So that is the one I put in the middle. The boost I put down at the bottom, because if you look across, you're probably going to see that. Where this is located, I put the oil at the top. I don't know, maybe I'll put it down at the bottom, move the boost up here. I just think it's probably going to work out best this way. Like I said, something might change. So you take off your regular pillar cover. I've never really did a fresh new install of these yet. Typically, like the guys, they'll run the wiring through and they'll cut a little hole here, and they'll run the wiring and stuff through here. And then this actually is like a cover that goes over top of this, just like that. As you've seen, if you've seen my other video that I did on my car, they give you these little clips. So I'll be drilling a hole top, bottom, to get those installed to hold the cover to the original thingamaboober babadabber thinger here. So you know, we have wiring for each one to run through. All of the sensors are in place except for the boost controller here for that one. So we still do have to run all the wiring, so we're going to go over all that. You can use, I mean, almost anything. Just be careful because you're cutting and your hand's there and you want to make sure everything's right. I have this. It does have a plastic blade, cutter blade on it. So I'm just going to probably come in here and maybe notch this area out here big enough to get the wiring through, and hopefully that works out sufficiently, and then I can figure out where I'm running wires and get that together. I'll figure out what size drill I need for this. It might tell me in here. Then I'll line this up perfectly here also and drill all 4 holes. That way they're already ready to go. All right, so we'll get at this and get started. You want to make sure that you keep these pins, they line it up. This one's bent over a little bit, so I'll probably shave it a little bit with a razor blade. If you've ever had any of these off, these always break. They are very tough to get off of these, and finding replacements or taking them off of another one is near impossible most of the time. So I'm gonna get some holes, get some stuff drilled, and show you what we got to do to get these gauges all in and working. I'll show you the locations of some of the sensors that are already installed for the AFR and the oil, and go from there. All right. There was some instructions in here. Basically goes over a bunch of stuff, tells you it can be painted, line it up, where to drill the holes. Here's the clips. It tells you need a 7/32 drill bit, which we have. I figured I'll show you. Here's the hole I had cut for stuff to come through down here at the bottom. I think I might have to move it up a little bit more. Like I said, depends on, you have to see where it's going to work out best. I was actually down a little bit far. So I'll just probably just come up here just a little bit more. I mean, a little bit big, as long as it's behind there's not a problem. I use some masking tape. I have it in place here, you can see. So that's holding it in place. So I'm gonna pick a couple spots similar to what's here, and then I'll just drill my holes. Then that'll be ready to go. Other than making that hole a little bit bigger here, up this way, because like I said, where this comes in here, I just need to be up a little bit. And then the wiring will fit down through from all these ones up here, or in, and then I'll feed it through and assemble it up here, which is sometimes how that ends up going when you're doing it. And then you can pull your wires back down through, which I'll show some of that stuff too, back down in here. And then I zip tie and tuck stuff, and you can tap for power and stuff there, which I'll show you that stuff. So I'm gonna get these drilled, and then I'm gonna work on getting the wiring done, and I'm gonna show you where I have where all the sensors are mounted. Well, the plan was to go over the installation of a 3-pod pillar. So I did get some of that information. This was really easy. I do have another video on this. If you're lucky enough to have the stock antenna or availability to one of these, there's a gasket down here that goes around your main harness. You can shove this down in there the whole way into the car and tape with black tape and pull it through this way, or push them down the other way. All right, so that works really well for that. Okay, now for now we just mounted our oil sensor here, your AFR sensors down in, boost gauge ties into well, vacuum off of your intake. Okay, so that's installed. When I did these, all your wires will drop down here. I actually, when they came in, I ran them up behind this aluminum in case you ever have to take the dash out. All you have to do is grab these wires here now, undo your ground and your positive, and then allow them to get tucked back through there or pulled up through here, because there's going to be some extra. But here is the pod. Basically, you had to drill holes to mount these, which I'd shown, and then they kind of just go right in, you know. These the glow shift ones seem to work okay. It's not too bad, but yeah, I mean, right now the only thing that I'm having right now is I'm getting a little bit of like just basically just idle time going over checking coolant, making sure that there's no oil leaks. So I had a little issue with this on the top side here, and I'm having some smoking issues. I don't know if I'm actually leaking out of, left that on again. I don't know if I'm leaking out of my drain tube down here, because I have a little bit down there, but we're going to try to address that. I did reseal this. You can see some blue high quality Teflon tape on there. So I resealed that part. I resealed this. I believe that alleviated my pressure side leak. I don't know if something got on this one that was leaking a little bit, and that was what was smoking off. I brought it up to temp yesterday when I was testing out the gauges to make sure all that stuff worked. I ended up having a little bit of a smoke grow over here, and I looked up from the bottom and found there was very minute, like I didn't even get a drip on the ground, oil leak. So that you see there, that's because I sprayed some brake clean around it to rinse it off yesterday, to try to alleviate some of it so that I could maybe see where it's coming from today. I was just going to double check to make sure everything's tight, bring this thing up to temperature one more time, and then we'll reinstall our heat shield. I mean, the springs are starting to, you can tell they got a little hot. I did have my, let's see, where's that? This thing. One of those laser temperature jobs. The manifold was running about 320. The turbo housing itself where the oil was flowing through was running about 240. So, I mean, that was a big difference. The exhaust on this side over here, out the O2 housing, was also running around in the 320s also, just at an idle. The car itself, the temperature gauge was showing that it was running at 200, like 190, 200, because that's what's in here. So you're going to have heat, but, you know, I don't know if it, like I said, it could have just been burning off a little bit of this because it's new. You know, you can see we have a little hot spot right there. So I'm just not quite sure. So I'm going to try running it today without the shield on and see, after I tighten this stuff up, if I end up with something else where I have to address a minute oil leak and go from there. So, but like I said, I'm sorry, this was supposed to be more of an instructional video on a couple things. I'm probably going to tie it together with the beginning where I was putting some of the motor mounts and stuff on. I just had a bunch of other stuff going on that I wasn't able to do some filming. So, yeah. Horsepower time.